Hiya, hiya. Greetings, everyone. Oseo to the tribes of Turtle Island. I've had some questions and concerns about how the tribe is to look at Donald Trump. I don't know if I've spoken about him before, but however, I grew up with him. We're about the same age. Matter of fact, he's maybe a month older than I am. So I'm very familiar with his character, very familiar. I followed his career. He's always had a very strong concern for America because he was blessed so much by his father that he was able to live a very luxurious life. So I've always seen him as someone who wanted to give back. And I never saw him tell a lie. I never saw him be a hypocrite or play race cards. That's not who he is. Matter of fact, he's so genuine and honest that the generations that was born far after his time, they're alien to him. Okay, TAIFA world, what are you talking about? Well, if a lie is told for so long or so many years, it becomes accepted as the norm because people have nothing else to measure it by. So when somebody like Donald Trump, who has not changed, who's the real deal, when he comes along, he's seen as someone who's crazy. Because he stands in opposition to everything society says is okay. And that's bear witness to the fact that when you're in a society that has gone completely bonkers or insane, if you come standing in opposition to that society, you're the one who's crazy because you don't go along with the status quo. The baby boom generation that I and Trump is a part, we grew up with real characters, real male models and characters. Let me see if I can name a few. Oh, John Wayne, uh, Robert Redford, Paul Newman, all different types of characters, but they were strong male, masculine individuals. There's quite a few more. I just named a few. So he's like the old guard, or we're like the old guard. We come from a place and a time that this generation have no idea. So naturally, we're viewed as crazy because he speaks the truth. Hey, thank you for being here, Octagarian. Oh yeah, I think I'm one of those too. Octagram. Without darkness, there's no light. That's true. Matter of fact, you got it opposite. Without light, there'd be no darkness. You can have darkness without light. And where does the light come from? It comes from the darkness. Out of the darkness came light. Well, let me get back to my point. I'm not to be straight from my topic, but thank you for your comment. So Trump was a very bold individual growing up. He did things nobody else would do, and he stuck to his guns. He learned how to play the game. You know, he's one of the few people in business who figured out the monopoly game, this money game. That's how he became so prosperous. Like many of us, we figured out the game. So before you're critical of somebody, try to step outside of your step outside of yourself. The times you came up in and what you grew up, how you grew up, and try as much as you can to. It's gonna be difficult. It's almost I was thinking something was impossible to do because if you born in the 80s, 90s, you have no idea what it was like growing up in the 60s. If someone from the 60s came and talked to you, you'll say, "Oh, where does people come from?" You as crazy to us as we are to you, because we hold on to our integrity. We have not been raised by TVs. When at least when we was watching TV, that was truth being told. That was truth being shown. Porn wasn't everywhere. People had a sense of decency. The Okay, any questions? Let me see what you got in the comments. Any questions? Uh, if you watch my other videos, I told you that we're mostly educational ministries because that's something that's most needed. People are dying for lack of knowledge. And not because knowledge isn't there, it's because they refuse to accept it when it's presented to them. They don't know about checking, investigating. You see, we used to have news during the era me and Trump grew up in. We had news that was very balanced. There was always the pro and con side of every story. Every story has a pro and con. Now, within the last, seems at least 30 years, you only see one side of the story. The mass media's become more like a television uh, comedy show because you can't keep a straight face and watch that stuff and believe it. It's like everybody's reading off the same script. If you watch the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, James Stewart stars in that movie. Oh, that's another strong male model that we grew up with. Strong person with very much integrity. These are our models growing up. So watch James Stewart, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and see, even though that's a fictional story, it's so much truth in it. It seemed like it's surreal. So when you watch that movie, you can come back and we can talk about it. I don't know if you can find it. You might have to try to buy the DVD somewhere because these old movies are being scooped up. It's hard to find them because we told the truth in these old movies. There was always a moral lesson. Always a moral lesson. But nowadays, there's no lesson. There's only violence, sex, catering to your lower nature. And if you was born in the 20s, I'm sorry, you just insane because you born into a system that you think is normal, but you're born into an insane system and everything being turned around. And when someone try to come and turn you around, you say they're crazy. It's not your fault because also you was miseducated. The school systems has totally wasted you. So you have nothing to measure sanity by. So there you go. So any questions about anything I talked about? Don't worry. Nasty comments is part of your nature. You know, you always want to destroy the truth teller. That's who you are. You just told me the first thing you said was darkness was before light. So what is that saying? That's saying I wish I'm on the dark side and I want to extinguish the light. So I'm bringing you light, knowledge. So whether you're aware of it or not, your nature is to try to extinguish it. That's who you are. Okay, so I want to thank y'all for coming in and being a part of this moment in time. Hiya hiya to the tribes and greetings to the visitors. Peace and blissfulness to those who deserve it.